Good morning, everyone. This is Bremster, and today I'm coming to you with a puzzle by Nathan F. I checked, and Nathan F has not done many puzzles to the best of my knowledge. I checked the CTC Discord archive, and I could only find 3 or 4 puzzles. And this was a puzzle he posted to testing a few days ago, and I reached out to Nathan and asked, "May I do this puzzle?" And he responded saying, "Sure." So I've loaded this puzzle up into Sudokupad and I'm going to give it a shot. I don't know anything about this puzzle at all, apart from the rules, which I'm going to try and explain. This is not the sort of puzzle I normally do, so it's going to be kind of interesting to see what happens. So, of course, the Save the Galaxy puzzle adventure is still going on, so if you haven't given that a shot, please, there'll be links in the description below where you can do this. Also in the below will be the link to where you can attempt this puzzle, as well as full descriptions of the rules, as provided by Nathan. I've put a summary of the rules on screen, and I'm going to try and go through them, because, yeah, this puzzle has been rated by quite a few people as very approachable. I don't think it's quite Gaz level, but I could be wrong about that. There has only been a couple of people provide feedback. This has only been posted to testing so far. And it's not the sort of puzzle I normally do, as I said. So this will be a little bit interesting, and I'll have to figure out the logic as I go. Where was I? It's a very early Sunday morning here. So the way this puzzle works. So we have normal Sudoku rules apply. So in every box, in every row, and in every column, the digits 1 to 9 must be placed without repetition. The green area is the land of Sudokutopia. And there are some interesting rules about Sudokutopia. First of all is we have 9 cities in Sudokutopia, which are all represented by the digit 1. We also have 9 mountains that must be placed in Sudokutopia, which will be represented by the digit 9. Okay, and they must be within Sudokutopia, which is the green area. Right. Then we have an interesting rule set, which is all cells within Sudokutopia must be connected to a city by orthogonally adjacent consecutive valued cells. So they can go up or down, but they must always be consecutive. And you must be able to form a consecutive value path from every city, so every one to every other cell within Sudokutopia without leaving Sudokutopia. That is my understanding of the rules. On top of that, every cell that is not in Sudokutopia may not be able to reach a city by consecutive hops. So that's giving us a fair bit of information, I think. But my understanding of what that means is if this cell here was a 3, then the cells around it have to be able to reach a 1 by forming a consecutive value path. Now, it could do that by this being a 2, or it could potentially do this by this being like a 7. This is probably going to break, but if this is a 4, this is a 3, and this is a 2, take this out. This is also making the path. This probably is this is broken, but you can see that this is still a consecutive run of digits connecting this cell to this city. That is valid for this cell, but that cell has no way of working at the moment that I can see. Actually, it could be a 4. So, except that is broken for another reason, but we'll get into that later. But that's how that rule works. And apparently that makes this puzzle solvable. I have no idea on this one. I'm jumping in blind. Feel free to jump with me. Links below. Let's give this a shot. So one of the cool things about getting better at editing is when I get interrupted a couple of minutes into solving a puzzle, I can literally just not keep my intro and not need to re-record it, because early on when I was doing it, I think I re-recorded some intros like 9 times because I kept getting interrupted early on in a puzzle. And this time it's like, I'm fairly early on, I'll just restart the puzzle and keep the intro. Okay, so let's give this a shot. Yeah, I've done a couple of minutes on this puzzle already. So what I did, one of the things that we need to do is we need to put a mountain into Sudokutopia, 9 mountains, which means the green region must contain 9 nines. So we can do a bit with nines. So this must be a 9 because there has to be a 9 in Sudokutopia in box 9. And that's the only place for it. We now need to put a 9 in Sudokutopia in box 3, and we can't put it there, so that must be a 9. We now must put a 9 in Sudokutopia in box 2, so that must be a 9. So the 9 in Sudokutopia in box 1 goes in one of those 2 cells. The 9 in Sudokutopia in box 6 goes in one of those 2 cells. The 9 in Sudokutopia in box 5 goes in one of those 3 cells because these aren't possible. And now, where do we put the 9 in Sudokutopia in row 6? It has to go in one of those 3 cells. So we've now got 9s limited to those 3 cells and those 4 cells. And this is about as far as I got when I got interrupted. There was one more deduction that I found which kind of blew my mind. So the next thing I started looking at was 2s. And I started... I've made this deduction before, so I'm not going to fake it on you. So what I did is I started turning around and saying, well, you've got to make consecutive connections to all cities, so you've got to start putting 2s in. So I can put a 2 here because it's the only place for it, and I can put a 2 here, and that placed the 9, and I can put a 2 here. Hang on a minute. I've got a problem. How do I put a 2 next to this one? And I realized I also can't put a 2 next to this one because I'd have to put it here or here, and 2s are seeing both of those. And that's when I realized not every city gets connected to. And that kind of blew my mind. And that's when I got interrupted. So I rolled all of the 2 stuff back and went, help, because I do not know what I'm supposed to do now. So every 9 needs to get out. So this 9 needs an 8. And then the 8 needs to get out. So the 8 is going to need a 7. But where that 7 goes, I'm actually going to highlight the mountains because why not? Let's make them red. Ooh, they become a pretty brown color. So these need a 7. But this could be a 9 and share that 8. Hang on, if either of these are 9, they need an 8. And they can't get it. Because if I put a 9 here, I can't put an 8 in either of those because I've got an 8 in the box. If I put a 9 here, I'd need to put an 8 in one of those 2, so it's connected, and I can't because there's an 8 in the box. There is no 9 in either of those 2. This becomes a 9. This is not a 9. Okay, so that leaves one spot for the 7. This is a 7. The 7 must get a 6, and it can't leave Sudokutopia to do it. And this is an 8 and a 1. This is a 6. So this is actually... So these are 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this could go 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, but it could also leave in this direction. Okay. So this is a 9, so it takes 9 out of all of those and puts a 9 in there, which takes a 9 out of there and puts a 9 in there. I have more mountains. Color the mountains red. Actually, I have no idea what red would mean, so... It's so tempting to just put a 2 here, but... So this 9 needs an 8. So one of those is an 8. If this is an 8, this would be a 7. And then both of those would be going 9, 8, 7, 9, 8, 7, and that'd be fine. And this one isn't connected to. I don't see a problem with that. This 9 needs an 8, and I can't, there's only 2 cells it can reach, and it can't be that one. So this has to be an 8. The 8 needs a 7, the 7 goes there. The 7 has now got its 6. So as long as this 6 reaches a 1, this is all fine. But this can't go this way now. So this is locked off. This is its own unique set of Sudokutopia. Can I do anything more with the mountains? It is so tempting to just go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But I think this can go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and still be fine. If this is a 9, this becomes an 8 so it can get out. But what then do I put in that cell? Because this would need to be orthogonally connected to that. So this would need to be an 8 or a 10. An 8 or a 10. It's not a 10, so it would be an 8. But this has become an 8 for this 9 to get out. This is not a 9. What about this cell? So if this is a 9, in order for it to get out, this has to be an 8, because these are 2, 3, 4, 5. But then what is this cell? Because it can't be an 8, and it has to be orthogonally connected to a 9. This is not a 9. This is the 9. This is the 8. This is a 7. This now can't connect to this cell. This is a 6. And then that could connect to this. But what we have here are these are 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I'm not putting a 2 next to a 1. Well, I could, but I think it would be wrong, because then cells that are not in Sudokutopia would be connecting to a 1. I can't put a 5 next to a 6 for the same reason. If this is a 5, it would then leapfrog onto this 6 and go, "Ha ha, I have a path to a city, I am going to conquer you." I don't know, maybe. I have no idea if this is a war game. Suburbia is not. So this is not a 5. Does that mean this has to be... No, this doesn't have to be a 5. Because if this is a 5, these 6s, and in fact all of this stuff is resolved, if this is a 5. But this could literally just go 3, 2, 1. And be completely resolved. These are 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's not a 2. For exactly the same reason. Conquering the capitals. Hang on, this is a mountain. Which means this is a mountain. Which means this is a mountain. I mean, you should be able to spot the mountains pretty quickly. That's what mountains are for. So how does this 9 get out? I mean, it's tempting to just go 8, 7, 6. And then it would have to get out this way. Hang on, this 8 is forcing this to be an 8. This is not an 8 anymore, which means one of these has to be a 7. And I need to trim my moustache. That's not relevant to the solve. Okay, some basic Sudoku. I need to put a 7 up here. I need to put an 8 in one of those. Is there more Sudoku I can do? 7 is in one of those 4. 8 is not there. 8 is not there. 8 is not in one of those 2. 8 is in one of those 2. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . what can this be? If this is a 2, it would have to connect to a 1. So it can't be a 2, which means this is a 2. If this is a 3, this would have to go 2, 1, which I think is okay. If this is a 4, it would need to connect with a 3 or a 5. Now, if this was a 3 or a 5, it could not get out anywhere. So this is not a 4. So this is a 3 or a 5. So it's either 3, 2, 1 or 5, and then this could be anything. So 4 is in one of those two. Hang on, this is a 3, 4, 5. This is a 2. This is not a 2. Hang on, is this more restricted than it looks? If this is a 3, how does it get to a 1? If this is a 3, I go 3, 2, and then the 2 can't... These 2s have to be next to... So this is not a 2. So there's a 2 in one of these. If this is a... Wait a minute. If this is a 5, it goes 4, 3, and that can't be a 2. I think this is now forced. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Because if I do it any other way, if I put a 5 here, this is forced to be a 4, this is forced to be a 3, and then I've run out. This is not a 5. If this is a 5, this is a 2, and then I can't connect to this one at all. In fact, if this is a 2, this 5 can't get out. Because it goes 5, 4, 2, and it's just all broken. This is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. These are now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Why am I pointing at the screen? You can't... That bit there. I'll use the mouse pointer. That'll help more. This is a 2 and a 3. Can that be a 3? Because if that's a 3, I'd need to put a 2 next to it, which would not be connected to a 1. That's a 2. That's a 3. This now, if it... Oh, I could still go 3, 2, 1. Okay, but this has helped. So all of this stuff is connected. All of this stuff is connected. All of this stuff is connected. This city feels like the capital because everything is connecting to here. All roads lead to... This is Rome. And this could still go 9, 8, 7, 6. So it could even pick up this mountain. What city connects to lots of mountains? I know nothing about geography. I have been to 1, 2, 3. I have been... If I was to take 5 days out of my 51 plus years on this earth, I have been to 3 countries. If I add those 5 days back in, I have been to 6. I have not travelled much. What comes next? It's an interesting puzzle. Oh, this 9 needs to get out. That has to be an 8. The 8 now needs to put a 7 in one of those, and it can't be there. So this becomes a 7. The 7 needs to get out, so I need to put a 6 in one of those. So this 8 means this is not an 8. So this is an 8. That 8 had been sitting there since I got these mountains. So this is an 8. So this city does not get anything. So this 8 needs to get out. So this becomes a 7. This becomes a 6. This becomes a 5. I need to keep making this path. And then one of these is a 4. Well, hang on. That 5 means this is not a 5. So this is not a 6 because there's already a 6 right here. So this is a 3 or a 4. Well, if this is a 3, it needs to connect to a 2. And I can't put a 2 in either of those spots. That's a 4. So this is a 3, this is a 5, this is a 4, this is a 4. None of these are conquering cities. These are 2, 3, 5, and I can't put 2 into either of those. So that's the 2, which jumps straight into the 1. This city, I've no idea what it is, but it's going nowhere. Like, it has failed to expand. This 6 needs a 5, which then piggybacks onto this 4. This 4 can piggyback onto this. Hang on, can it piggyback onto this 5? Actually, I think this is the way out for this. Because these were forced to go down because they were in the same box. But when you hit a border, the rule changes unless you're in the same row or column. So this, if this goes back up to a 5, then this would need to be 4 and it would be dead-ended. This is a 3. So what are these two cells? I need a 2 and a 4. Which means this is a 3, which doesn't piggyback off anything. But 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If this is a 4, I could go 5, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That'd be fine. And if this is 2, I could go 2, 3, 2, 1. So these can be either. These both have a way out. So it's got to be over here now. Well, this 7 means that the 7 is here. The 7 now needs to reach a 6. Well, I can't put it there. Actually, I'm going to pencil mark this triple. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, and 8. This is not 7. This is not 7. This is the 7. So this is 6 or 8. I can't connect this to this. Or to this. This has to connect to this, surely. Because if I go 7, 6, 5, 4, 7, 6, this would need to be the biggest Schrodinger cell in history. So I can't connect upwards. 7, 6, I've run out of room. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 works, including for the row. 7, 6, and I've run myself out of room. These can't be connected to these. There's just not enough room to do it. How do I prove that? I think I just did. I cannot grow this to be a 6 or an 8. I cannot grow this to be a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. By the time I grow, I'm too far away. So this one has to be it. 2, 3, and I've already proven that this can't go down. It can't connect to this because this would have to be an 8 and there's an 8 in a row. 4, 5, 6, and now this is connected and this is connected. Now this needs to connect to this 7, so it can either be 6 or 8. This is 2 or 4 now for the row. For this box, I need 5 and 6. So for here, I need 2, 3, and 4. This is not the 3, so this is the 3. So this is a 2, 4 pair. Am I going to have a deadly pattern here? This column needs 1, 2, 3, 4, and 7. So this is the 4 and this is the 7. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8. I can't put 6 or 8 there. This is the 5. So this is 6 or 8. No, this can't be a 2, because if this is a 2, it immediately conquers this city. This is a 4, this is a 2, this is a 4, this is a 2. This is a very clever rule set. 1, 2, 3. This 2 is resolving it. This is the 3, this is the 2. This now could still be a 6 or an 8, I think. Okay, let's do some Sudoku. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm now tempted to look at this column because I've got the 5, 6 pair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is 4 and 7. So this is 7 and this is 4. Now that 7 doesn't actually help me much. But this is a pair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now, if this was an 8, it would jump onto this 9 and use this entire chain. So this 8 would get all the way through here, turning around and saying, nothing to see here, I'm just a friendly citizen, get to the city and overrule the government, overthrow the government and be a horrible person. So this 7, let's make this 4. This now has to be 5 or 6 for the column. So this is 5, 6, or 8. And how do I resolve this? This 5 would piggyback onto this 4 and be an invading force. 6, 5. That makes this an 8, and this is 6, and this an 8, which takes 8 out of there. The 6 here makes this a 5, and this a 6. The 6 looks down, making this 5, and this is 6. And that is making mountain paths without any invaders taking over your cities. That is a very clever puzzle. That was harder than I expected from the introduction that I'd been given, but a lot of fun. How long was that video? So my solve was just over 20 minutes, so I'm actually quite surprised with that. It felt longer, which I suppose is the sign of a really good puzzle. Like, I know Simon from Cracking the Cryptic often turns around and says, oh, I've been on this 45 minutes. It feels like I've been doing it for 10, and everything. But I feel like I got like 40 minutes of good solving logic in 20 minutes. Like I got fully engrossed and time didn't matter. And I really feel like this was a puzzle that I was sort of, I found something and then I found something else and I found something else. And it was like, but at no point was I sitting here going, oh, I can't, like at no point did it feel like it was withholding information from me. So that was, and that's why I say as a 20-minute, that was absolutely amazing, because I felt like it was just a well-written, the difference between a well-written script and not a well-written script. It gave me everything I needed in a very clear way. That was a great puzzle. Nathan F., thank you very much for submitting this. That was, yeah, I look forward to more stuff like this from you. This was great. Thank you everyone for watching. I really hope you gave this puzzle a shot. And I really hope that you have done your part to save the galaxy. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, please check the description below and go check out our puzzle adventure. If you do know what I'm talking about and you haven't tried it, or you've got stuck, please jump onto the Sudoku Solvers Discord. Links for that are below as well. Jump into the Bremster discussion channel and ask for help. We are here to provide assistance. Thank you everyone for watching. Good luck with your solving.